This lecture basically deals with what are flowcharts and how to design them. Now let us see what a flowchart is. A flowchart can be defined as a diagrammatic representation of an algorithm, which is a step-by-step approach to solve a particular task. And the flowchart shows the steps as boxes of various kinds, and they are ordered by connecting the boxes with arrows. Now let us see this simple example. It is a flowchart representing a process for dealing with a non-functioning lamp. If the lamp doesn't work, then we have to check whether the lamp is plugged in. If no, then we have to plug in the lamp. If yes, then we have to check whether the bulb has burnt out. If yes, then we have to replace the bulb, and if no, then we have to repair the lamp. Now the flowcharts are not drawn randomly. There are certain standard symbols for it. So the first one is used for start or end. The next one, which is a parallelogram, is used for input-output operations. The third one, which is a rectangle, is used for expression. That is, actual calculation is done inside this rectangle. The fourth one, as you can see, is a diamond, which is used for decision making. And the last one is a connector. Sometimes we need to connect between several figures or several symbols, then we use this connector. Now this is a very simple flowchart to print a name. So it just says start, print name, and stop. The symbols are in accordance to the previous slide that we have seen. Now this is a second flowchart, which is also very simple, and it is just to print the sum of two integers. So in the input we have taken two integers a and b. Then we have calculated the value of c, that is a plus b, and then we have printed the value of c. That's all. Now this flowchart is about printing the temperature given in Fahrenheit after converting it to Celsius. So the input is the temperature, which is given in Fahrenheit, then it is converted to Celsius using the given formula, and then the final temperature, which is converted to Celsius, is printed. Now this is the next flowchart, which is to print the factorial of an integer n. We have taken two extra variables m and f such that m is equal to 1 and f is equal to 1. Then f is recalculated as f into m. Then it is checked whether m is equal to n. If no, then the value of m is incremented by 1, and if yes, then the output, that is factorial f, is printed. The next flowchart is to find or print the greatest among three integers. So in the input we have taken three integers a, b and c. Now first we have to compare between a and b. So it is checking whether a is greater than b. If yes, then the next checking will take place between a and c. If a is greater than c, then it is printed that a is the largest number. And if no, then it is printed that c is the largest number. On the other hand, if a greater than b is false, then b and c are checked. That is, whether b is greater than c or not. If yes, then b is the largest number is printed, and if no, then c is the largest number is printed. The point to be noted here is, before end we could use a connector to connect between the three arrows. Now this is the next flowchart, which is to print the sum of first n natural numbers. So we have taken two extra variables, sum whose value is initialized to 0 and I whose value is initialized to 0. So we have to read the value of n, that is n will be taken as input. Then we have to check if I is equal to n. If no, then sum is equal to sum plus I and I will be incremented by 1. And if yes, then the sum value, that is the value of the sum which is calculated, will be printed. Now this is the next flowchart, which is to print the Fibonacci series up to num terms. As we can see, we have taken the input as num. That means up to how many terms we want to print the Fibonacci series. We have taken two variables, x whose value is 0 and y whose value is 1. Now there is a condition checking, is num greater than equal to x? If no, then we have to stop. And if yes, then z, which is another integer, z equal to x plus y, and print the value of x. Then we have to change the values of x and y as x equal to y and y equal to z. And this will keep on repeating till the condition is satisfied. Now this is the next flowchart which prints the sum of the terms of a number n. Suppose there is a 3-digit number which is taken as input, so it will print the sum of those 3 digits as the output. So in the input we read the value of n and set sum, that is a variable, equal to 0. Now there is a condition checking if n is greater than 0. If yes, then sum is equal to sum plus n modulo 10. So in this way we get the remainder, and in the next step we divide, that is n is equal to n by 10. And this keeps on repeating till the condition is satisfied. And if no, that is if n is not greater than 0, then we will print the sum. So that's all about it. Now this is the next flowchart to print whether a number is even or odd. So simply we'll take the number as input and find the remainder, that is modulo 2. So if the remainder equal to 0, if it is true, then display, that is print, even number, and if not, then display odd number. Now the next flowchart is to develop a simple calculator using switch case. So it says define switch cases with operation, that is there are 4 operations here: plus, minus, divide and multiplication. And the next we have to enter the choice, that is either plus or minus or divide or multiply. So suppose the user press plus, then addition is performed and it will not go to any other case. It will directly break from here. Similarly, it is true for minus, divide and multiply. One more case could be present, which is the default case. If our input doesn't match with any of these options, then it can print that the operation is invalid or the input entered is invalid. Now that we have already seen some of the very commonly used and popular flowcharts, now let us also see the advantages of flowchart. So first is better communication. A flowchart is a pictorial representation of a program. Hence, it is easier for a programmer to explain the logic of a program to others. Second is proper program documentation. Program documentation involves collecting, organizing, storing, and otherwise maintaining a complete historical record of programs and the other documents associated with the system. Third is efficient coding. Once a flowchart is ready, programmers find it very easy to write the corresponding program because the flowchart acts as a roadmap for them. Now there are certain limitations of flowchart also. So let us see what are they. First is complex logic. Sometimes the program logic is quite complicated. In that case, flowchart becomes quite complex and clumsy. Second, alterations and modifications. If alterations are required, the flowchart may require redrawing completely. This is quite time and effort consuming. And third is reproduction. As the flowchart symbols cannot be typed, the reproduction of flowchart becomes a problem. So that was all about flowchart in this lecture. Irrespective of so many limitations, flowcharts are still very, very popular because it gives a pictorial view, and pictorial views are always very efficient for human beings to understand and relate to. So that adds to the advantage of using flowchart till date.